Yeah, let me see. He's not here on the line. Let me read. Oh, Kiran Prabhu is joining.
I think so. Prabhuji is on the line. Prabhuji, he
Okay.
just joined.
Okay. Yeah, Kiran Prabhuji, whenever you're ready, you can start, Prabhuji, then.
Okay, Prabhuji.
Yeah.
I'll share the screen.
Yeah. Hare Krishna devotees, thank you. Please accept my humble obeisances who joined this meeting. Thank you, Sundaranand Prabhu, for giving me this opportunity to read today's Bhagavatam Sloka translations. All glories to Srila Prabhupada and Sri Krishna. Let me start with a brief prayers. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudharayet Nashtaprayeshu Abhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavate Uttama Bhaktir Bhavati Naistikim जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे राम 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 हरे हरे. Today we are reading from Canto 10, Chapter 3, the birth of Lord Krishna, from slokas. What are the sloka numbers?
32,
Prabhuji.
32 to 45, Prabhuji.
Okay, Prabhuji. 32. Let me open that. Yeah, so in the 32 sloka, in the translation, Srila Prabhupada has said, the Supreme Personality of Godhead replied, "My dear mother, best of the chaste, in your previous birth, in the Swayambhu millennium, you were known as Prishni and Vasudeva, who was the most pious Prajapati, was named Sutapa. Sloka 33. When both of you were ordered by Lord Brahma to create progeny, you first underwent severe austerities by controlling your senses. Sloka 34 and 35. My dear father and mother, you endured rain, wind, strong sun, scorching heat, and severe cold, suffering all sorts of inconvenience according to different seasons. By practicing pranayama, you control the air within the body through yoga, and by eating only air and dry leaves fallen from the trees, you cleansed from your minds all dirty things. In this way, desiring a benediction from me, you worshipped me with peaceful minds. So in the sloka 36, thus you spent 12,000 celestial years performing difficult activities of tapasya in consciousness of me, Krishna consciousness. So that is in 37 and 38. O sinless mother, Devaki, after the expiry of 12,000 celestial years, in which you constantly and contemplated me within the core of your heart with great faith, devotion, austerity, I was very much satisfied with you. Since I am best of all the bestowers of benedictions, I appeared in this same form as Krishna to ask you to take from me the benediction you desired. You then expressed your desire to have a son exactly like me. Sloka 39. Being husband and wife, but always sonless, you were attracted by sexual desires. For by the influence of Deva Maya, the transcendental love, you wanted to have me as your son. Therefore, You never desired to be liberated from this material world. Sloka 40. After you received the benediction, I disappeared. You engaged yourselves in sex to have a son like me, and I fulfilled your desire. Sloka 41. Since I found no one else as highly elevated as you in simplicity and other qualities of good character, I appeared in this world as Prishnigarbha, or one who is celebrated as having taken birth from Prishni. In Sloka 42, in the next millennium, I again appear from the two of you who appeared as my mother Atiti and my father Kashyapa. I was known as Upendra, and because of being deaf, I was also known as Vamana. And I think 45 sloka, right? Sir?
Yes, Prabhu.
So, Sloka 43. O supremely chaste mother, I, the same personality, have now appeared of you both as your son for the third time. Take my words as the truth. Sloka 44. I have shown you this form of Vishnu just to remind you of my previous birth. Otherwise, if I appeared like the ordinary human child, you would not believe that the Supreme Personality of Godhead Vishnu has indeed appeared. Sloka 45. Both of you, husband and wife, constantly think of me as your son, but always know that I am the Supreme Personality of Godhead. By thus thinking of me constantly with love and affection, you will achieve the highest perfection, returning home back to Godhead. Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Yeah, thank you so much, Kiran Prabhuji, for reading the translations today. I'll offer brief prayers and we'll start. Om Ajnanatimirandasya Gnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Namam Vishnupadaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Nityanamine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Pashat Desutarine Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadara Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So it's a nice section where we're hearing Krishna speaking to his own mother and father, Devaki and Vasudeva. In the previous sections, we heard the prayers offered by Vasudeva, and then we heard the prayers offered by his mother Devaki. Both are in prison cell of Kamsa when Krishna appeared before them. So now in this verse onwards, just before this verse, 31st verse, what we heard was the last prayer by Devaki. How Devaki is appreciating both Vasudeva and Devaki went through this mode. On one end, they're appreciating how is the Supreme Personality of Godhead is so great. And also they had simultaneously they had the mood of Vatsalya Bhava or parental affection. That, oh, he's my son. I need to protect him from Kamsa like that. So that's what we heard in the last verse. How she was thinking that people will not be able to believe uh, that Supreme Lord has come to me like that. She was feeling like that in the last verse. Now, 32 verse onwards, Krishna is replying to his, directly speaking to his mother Devaki here. He's saying that in his previous birth, he was in the Swayambhu Manvantara, that is the first Manvantara after the creation is started by Lord Brahma. Uh, Vasudeva himself was Sutapa, and then Devaki was Prishni that time. So that time he was born to them. His name was Prishnigarbha. We know Prishnigarbha is the form of the Lord that appeared before Dhruv Maharaj also. From the fourth canto, we heard how Prishnigarbha form of the Lord came before Dhruv Maharaj when he did the austerities and his bhakti practices by the instructions of Narada Muni, his guru. So, one thing to note is Prabhupada is emphasizing in the purport that Supreme Lord appears by his own choice. He picks his mother and father. So he picked his mother and father as Prishni and Sutapa in the previous life, like that. So, and also another point Prabhupada makes is Krishna's appearance and disappearance is going like Nitya Lila. That means always going on. Where it is always going on in the spiritual world, Krishna is always performing his pastimes. There's no stop for it. And in the material world also, Krishna is appearing somewhere in one of the material world, planets, anywhere, all the time. So if he's not in this planet, some other planet is doing already his pastimes already right now. Like that he describes. And we also know that Krishna performs his pastimes in the hearts of his pure devotees also, all the time. That way, Nitya Leela is going on for Krishna everywhere like that. So the comparison usually Prabhupada gives whenever he's describing this topic is about sun. How when sun is disappearing here, is appearing in India like that, in different places in the world like that. Similarly, Krishna's pastimes are going on eternally. Now going to the 33rd verse. Now Krishna is describing in that past life as Prishni and Sutapa. Vasudeva and Devaki were Prishni and Sutapa at that time. So Prishni and Sutapa were ordered by Lord Brahma to create progeny. Why? Because Sutapa was a Prajapati. Prajapati means somebody who helps Lord Brahma in generating population in this world, to populate this world like that. So when Lord Brahma gave that order to them, then instead of just going ahead with having children, they first did severe austerities first. Why? So that they can purify their senses, they can purify their mind, they can control their senses like that. First, so that's a principle Prabhupada shares in the purport also. Two broad principles. One principle is whenever we are engaging in any service, we need to do austerities, or we need to take up some activity for purifying ourselves. We know from the famous example of his own as Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur, who is a speech master of our Prabhupada. He, when he was about to embark in preaching, he took up 9 years of chanting, whole day almost. That means, I believe it's 9 lakhs of holy name he chanted as him. So, for 9 years he chanted like that. So, like that, before we take up any service, we need to purify ourselves. Because the more we are purified, the service comes out nicely. That is pleasing to Krishna like that. Similarly, when we're having children also, we're meant to have engage in purification. That means intense sadhana we need to do. And then we need to do Garbhadana Samskara. Prabhupada talks about in the purport. Garbhadana Samskara is a samskara that is done before conceiving children, where elders' permission is taken for conceiving children, and blessings are taken by elders for conceiving children. And then also wife and husband engage in chanting more rounds that particular day, and then they conceive the child like that. So those are all done for purification to attract the quality soul in the womb like that. That is the idea with performing those austerities. So yeah, Prabhupada is confirming that. So we artificially, now people are trying to control the artificial population. For example, I heard some time ago that in China you can only have one child or something like that. You cannot have more than one child like that. So similarly, the artificial means of controlling are utilized in this world to control the population. But Prabhupada is saying the best way to control the population is to educate the people in spiritual way of life. Once they're educated in spiritual way of life, then they will not go, they will understand what are the, not only the uh, temporary pleasure that comes with sex life, they also understand what are the drawbacks, after effects of sex life also. So then they will only engage in religious sex life. We know in Bhagavata, Krishna describes, I'm the sex life that is conducted religiously, like that he describes. That means sex life is not bad, but sex life is good for procreation, for bringing the right children to this life, to this world, to quality children to this world, and to guide them to back to spiritual world like that, back them to pure devotion service of Krishna. So when we have the capacity to do that, we can bring the child and train them nicely with our example, with our instruction, and with our encouragement, and with our care and love for them. So they can grow in Krishna consciousness like that. Going to the next set of verses, 34 to 35. So in the previous verse, Krishna described how they engaged in severe austerities to have. Then um, in this verse is continuing how they endured so many austerities like rain, wind, strong sun, scorching heat, and severe cold. And they practice pranayama to control the air within the body through yoga. And they ate only dry and the fallen leaves only. Not they didn't even pluck the leaves from the tree. Only if they're fallen because they are dry. Then they ate, it seems. So in this way, they desired a benediction from Supreme Lord, and they worshipped him with peaceful minds, Krishna is describing. So Prabhupada is writing in the purport one important aspect of tapo divyam. Basically, human life is not meant to waste like a hog and dog, enjoying senses only. That's not the purpose of human life. Human life purpose is to engage in divine austerity, not ordinary austerity, divine austerity. What is such divine austerity for us that is given by Srila Prabhupada, that is given by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and all the acharyas in the past? Divine austerity is engaging in Sankirtan movement, which includes chanting of the Hare Krishna movement, Hare Krishna Mahamantra ourselves, and then sharing with others the importance of chanting Hare Krishna Mahamantra, importance of practicing devotion service like that. So that whatever we do for that purpose is part of the Sankirtan movement. So we need to make time for chanting the holy name ourselves and spreading the Krishna consciousness movement, sharing the Krishna consciousness with others. This can be in many forms. It can be in cooking prasadam and in decorating the deities, worshipping the deities in the temple, cleaning the temple, making the temple a nice place for others to visit, or sharing about temple's festivals with others, or sharing Srila Prabhupada books with others so they can understand about the purpose of life and the importance of chanting Hare Krishna Mahamantra, or sharing with others the importance of chanting Hare Krishna Mahamantra directly, are engaging others in doing some service for Krishna. Maybe they can give some donation for distributing Bhagavatas for Krishna, or maybe they can take some Bhagavatas and distribute to their friends and people they come in contact with, like their barber, their doctor, or their children's teachers. They can give gifts as Bhagavad Gita in this holiday time to their people who are connected to them. Like that, that is the purpose of that is the divine austerity we engage in, which is chanting Hare Krishna Mahamantra, following the four regulative principles nicely, and then sharing this knowledge with others, or helping in sharing this knowledge with others, like that. Hmm. Yeah, that's the principle Prabhupada shares in this purport. And then text number 36, Krishna describes they actually spent 12,000 celestial years with this tapo divyam, it seems. That means this much divine austerity they did for such a long time. In the following verse, 37, 38, um, Krishna describes, "Oh, my dear mother Devaki, you constantly thought about me within the core of your heart with great faith, devotion, and austerity." So these are important. With faith, she did her sadhana with faith. We also need to do our sadhana with faith that by just chanting Hare Krishna Mahamantra, all success will come. I will develop love of Godhead like that. And then with devotion, my dear Krishna, I want to please you. Like that, with devotion mood, we need to do our sadhana. And with austerity is whatever our acharyas has given us to do, following ekadasis, or following four regulative principles, and chanting our fixed number of rounds every day. These are the austerities that acharyas have given us. So we follow those austerities. So then Krishna says, I was very much satisfied with you. And I appeared in the same form as Krishna uh, because you express your desire to have a son exactly like me. So, what is the purpose of their austerities that time? That time the purpose of their austerities was they want to have a Supreme Lord as their son, Krishna as their son. That's why they did their austerities like that. Um, yeah, Prabhupada writes in the purport that um, Sutapa and Prishni did so much severe austerities, which we cannot even imagine. Forget about doing them. So for us, we don't have to do such severe austerities. We just need to do the austerities that are prescribed by our acharyas, which are which are chanting the holy name Hare Krishna Mahamantra, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, and doing the devotional activities of hearing regularly. So through that hearing and through that chanting and other devotion processes that we have, we can easily understand Krishna, we can easily develop love for Krishna, and we can easily go back to Krishna. That's what Prabhupada writes in the purport. That we should take advantage of these things, these devotional gifts that are given by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and our acharyas, and become perfected. Swarupa Siddhi is the word Prabhupada uses in the purport. So that is the austerity we need to focus in our life like that. So now, in the next verse, 40th verse, yeah, uh, Krishna describes being husband and wife, but always sonless. You are attracted by sexual desires. How come? They're pure devotees. How come they're attracted by sexual desires? By the influence of Deva Maya, transcendental love. You wanted me to have me as your son. Therefore, you never desired to be liberated from this material world. That means Krishna is describing that you never asked me, please let me go back to spiritual world. Please let me go back to Godhead. Like that, you didn't ask me. You only asked me, can you please become our son like that? And that was also inspired by Krishna. It's a loving exchange by Krishna with his pure devotees. Inspired by Krishna, that they are such desire like that is describing here. But Prabhupada says in the purport that we should not follow that example. We should not follow, have such desire like I want to have Krishna as my son, like, or we should not have any kind of material desires in worshipping Krishna, in following devotion service of Krishna. Instead, we should be niskinchana, without any material desire. We need to serve Krishna to please him only. So by that way, we can go back to spiritual world and situated in Krishna service all the time. That is the principle Prabhupada shares in the purport for us. So now going to the next verse, 40th verse. Oh, last one was 39th verse. Um, after you received that benediction, I disappeared. You engaged in having a son, and I fulfilled your desire. So that time also he became Prishni Garbha, and now he became as Krishna like that. Mm. So Prabhupada writes in purport, one should be free from the desire to beget a child like Krishna by sexual enjoyment. This is indirectly hinted at this verse Prabhupada is writing in the purport. In the 41st verse, Krishna writes, since I found nobody elevated than you in simplicity and other qualities of good character, I appeared in this world as Prishni Garbha. So he's describing that Krishna was attracted by the qualities of Prishni and Sutapa at that time. That's why he appeared like that. So good qualities is important to please Krishna, to attract Krishna to us like that. And the 42nd verse, and then after that, in the another life, this Prishni and Sutapa, they appeared as Aditi and Kashyapa Muni. And Krishna appeared as Vamanadev, as Upendra to them. He describes to them like that. That means he became son two times, as Prishnikarbha, as Vamanadev. I, the third time, take my words as truth like that. In the purport, Prabhupada is describing that Krishna appeared to reciprocate the love of the devotees as parents like that. And then he also says, Jiva Goswami proves the point that in this lifetime, Krishna appeared in his original form. Krishna is the original Supreme Lord form. And then Prishnigarbha and Vamanadev are expansions of Krishna. That's what Jiva Goswami is proving in Krishna Sandarbha. Prabhupada writes in the purport. like that. So, other point Prabhupada makes in the purport is that is only coming to exchange love with his devotees like that. In the 44th verse, he says, I've shown you this form of Vishnu. So why didn't I come like an ordinary child? Why did I come like with four hands like Vishnu form? He wants to remind Vasudeva and Devaki about in previous lives they asked him to come as his son. He wants to assure them that I am Vishnu only. Your desire is fulfilled like that. That is the reason he came to show himself like Vishnu form first, and then he transformed into ordinary two-handed form like Krishna's form like that. So Prabhupada writes in purport that if we become attached to Krishna on the platform of loving service, we become promoted to transcendental world. So it's not important that I have devotion for Krishna, but we need to serve Krishna like that. So the last verse, 45th verse, he is describing both of you. Now he's giving instruction to his mother and father. What is the instruction he is giving? Krishna is giving. Both of you, husband and wife, constantly think of me as your son, but always know that I am the Supreme Personality of Godhead. By thus thinking of me constantly with love and affection, you will achieve the highest perfection, returning home back to Godhead. So Krishna is giving the instruction that think of me as your son with Vatsalya Prema, and also don't forget that I am the Supreme Lord also at the same time. That is the instruction he is giving them. Whereas Nanda Maharaj and Yasoda, they can never think of Krishna as Supreme Lord. They only think about Krishna as their son. Whereas for Vasudeva and Devaki, their love is mixed with Aishwarya Bhav also. So that's why it's called Aishwarya Vatsalya Bhav. Whereas in case of Nanda Maharaj and Yasoda, they have Kevala Vatsalya Bhav like that. So that's what Krishna is instructing them. So, why is saying that? Because in the next few verses we'll see in tomorrow's session by Krishnavan Prabhu, we'll see how Krishna instructed Nanda Maharaj to take him to Gokula. That is where he's going to spend most of his childhood pastimes. That's why he's instructing them to remember him, to think about him like that. But we'll hear more about it. So, to conclude the class, I wanted to share. Now we heard about from Krishna's own mouth how he appeared because of uh, Devaki and Vasudeva's desperation in having Krishna as their son, in their dedication in the spiritual practices or sadhana, and in their purification and their meditation and observed about Krishna, how he revealed himself to them. Similarly, how Krishna can come in our life with the same things that we can do at our level. So, to share that, I wanted to show you the picture from book Bhagavata that is given by Swayam Bhagwan Keshav Maharaj. This is the link I'll send you also. In this book, he puts a simple picture together. This picture is very easy to follow. Essentially, what is the stages of that we as sadhakas need to go through for Krishna to reveal himself? That is the idea. So, you first, when Mother Bhumi, in the first chapter of this canto, 10th canto, we saw how when Mother Bhumi was suffering with the disturbances due to demonic kings, and to mitigate the suffering, she was desperate to have Krishna mitigate the suffering. So then she came to Brahma, and Brahma along with the demigods took Bhumi Devi, and then Krishna gave assurance that he will appear. So we need to develop that desperation that uh, I, this material world is full of miseries. My only shelter is Krishna, like that. We should feel that accurate desperation. I want Krishna in my life like that. That is the first thing we need to do. That happens when we understand that Krishna is the only shelter. Everything else cannot come to our rescue like that. Second thing is, once we understand Krishna is my only shelter, then we need to do our sadhana of chanting, hearing, remembering Krishna in a dedicated manner. with sincerity, seriousness, and strictness, then that will attract Krishna's attention on us. When we do the sincere, serious sadhana, understanding that Krishna is my only shelter and with the desperation, then that will purify our heart of all the evil things. Like how before Krishna appeared, the six children of Devaki were all killed by Kamsa. They represent the six enemies of the human being, like lust, anger, greed, illusion, madness, and envy, like that, right? Similarly, all the impurities will get purified when we do sincere, serious, and strict sadhana before Krishna's appearance in our heart. Then, following that purification, we'll be able to absorb in meditation on Krishna, like how Devaki was always absorbed in Krishna when Krishna came to her womb, like that. Similarly, we will be always absorbed in Krishna, meditating on Krishna, and thinking about Krishna's pleasure, like that. When we are situated in that position, then Krishna, by his own sweet will, by his own mercy, he will reveal himself to us. Another deep insight here that Swami Bhagavan Keshav Maharaj is describing is about how Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur describes not only Krishna was born here to Vasudeva and Devaki, but simultaneously he was born to Devaki, not Devaki, Yashoda and Nanda Maharaj as a Nandanandana Krishna. And simultaneously here he was born as Vasudeva Krishna, like that is described. Yeah. So those are the few thoughts from Sri Prabhupada in the purport and our acharyas in the purports on this section. So we can also sincerely and seriously desire for Krishna's appearance in our life, Krishna's presence in our life, and seriously, sincerely practice our bhakti sadhana as given by our guru and acharyas. Then we can also feel the presence of Krishna every day in our life and one day face to face also. Yeah, we'll pause here. Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Vanchakalpatarubhyasya kupasindu bevacha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavibhyo namo namaha. Thank you so much, devotees. Hare Krishna.
Thank you very much, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.